The feature for this race will work a little bit differently than normal. This race is 300 laps, twice the distance of what would be a typical short track race here in the HARC Pro Series. It'll be split into two segments of 150 laps each. This is just so that the drivers do not have to pit. The HARC officials were really worried about the pit road since Flamboro Speedway is not used to having such fast and such big groups of cars come in at once, especially under green flag conditions. So after the 150 laps, drivers who are more than 3 laps down will be eliminated. Drivers less than that will be put back on the lead lap. And drivers, how they finish in segment 1 will be how they exit the pits to start the second segment. They'll be given 20 minutes. The drivers will be and teams will be given 20 minutes to repair any damage their cars may have, and then they will be sent back out for the second segment. After that, it's just another 150 lap dash to the finish. Luke Walker and Richard Trelinsky are going to lead the field to the green flag for the season finale. Pace car going in, and we are green in segment 1. Luke Walker gets a great jump on Richard Trelinsky, who again, like his heat race, got a poor start. Off into turn 1, Kyle Sosnowski, not being patient, gets into Nicholson. Kane goes for a spin. Beijing off around. Up front, we've got more trouble. What a crazy first lap with Sosnowski. What were you doing? Spencer Fullerton ducks to squeeze it 3 wide between Alex Allen and Matthew Nicholson. Mike Doan gets into the back of him, turning him across the grass, has no grip and comes up right in front into Luke Walker. Around goes Luke Walker, and the pole sitter is already taken to the back of the pack. What a crazy first lap. We've got more trouble coming to the caution flag as Johnny Finguy, trying to avoid Luke Walker, gets into Alex Tanker, and they slide back across the track. Luca Obrovac with some significant side damage now. Sawyer Girl got a piece as well. 2 of our title contenders, in fact all 3 of them have been involved in incidents in this first lap and a half. A few drivers make their way into pit road under this caution. TJ Dent, Richard Trelinsky, Jeffrey Finguy, Ophelia Ndumi, T2 London, TJ Dent, Carlin Ndumi, and James O'Shea, Johnny Appleseed, Mark Nutt, and of course Spencer Fullerton and Luke Walker, who got significant damage. William Nicholson also in, Alex Tanker. Spencer Fullerton, who is at the moment 2 laps down, will lead the field back to the green flag. Gerald Reddington, our current leader, having taken it from Luke Walker after Luke Walker's unfortunate incident. Alex Tanker 1 lap down as well as William Nicholson. Alex Tanker, though, trying to keep himself from going 2 laps down as Reddington smokes his way around Fullerton, who's got some pretty decent damage. Mike Doan trying to slip in a second. Reddington with a horrible corner. Mike Doan gets a big run along the inside. Not going to make anything work there. It looked like Gerald was going to try and go around the outside of Alex Tanker, but I don't know how that would have ever worked. All the drivers trying to get around Spencer Fullerton right now. Dakota Honecker, Kyle Sosnowski makes it 3 wide. And Dakota Honecker and Kyle Sosnowski got into the wall there. Terrence Day involved as well. Luke Walker, Paul Swansky has a piece. Oh, Luke Walker's done. He's got some engine damage. As Kyle Sosnowski, what is he doing today? Normally, a driver bent on consistency and staying out of trouble has certainly not been doing so thus far in the race. Gerald Reddington leads the field back to the green flag. Alex Tanker managed to actually get his lap back there. He's back onto the lead lap, actually. I was wrong about him battling to get his second, getting back 1 lap down. As Kyle Sosnowski, once again, 3 wide in the 7 car. As Dakota Honecker and Luke Walker went out from that last incident. He made it 3 wide with Spencer Fullerton trying to get around him. Kyle Sosnowski really aggressively trying to get his way to the front despite having a lot of damage already. An interesting moment for our title contenders as Damir Bejanoff and Jeffrey Finguy race together. Damir pushes up the track a little bit. Obrovac's bumper was there, and Finguy and Obrovac nearly went around there. They will continue on. Obrovac with even more damage to his car. I'm sure he's already can't wait for the second segment. Before we could get any sort of a green flag run going longer than 5 laps, Sawyer Girl tried to slide up in front of Matthew Nicholson while he was still there. Finn Guy collected Ophelia and Dumian. Mark Nutt gets a piece. Tanker stays out of it by getting on the brakes pretty heavily. It seems when there is a wreck, this track is so narrow that it makes it nearly impossible for the drivers to avoid it. Green flags back out. Reddington leads the field to the restart. Bonnarengo with a terrible turn 1, along with Alex Allen, who gets a bit of a bump shot in the back from Kyle Sosnowski, who once again is on a mission today, as I believe the caution's out again. Yes, it is. A couple of drivers who haven't had the best of history together, Terrence Day and Carlin Dumian. Carlin Dumian, obviously not happy with Terrence Day, spins him around. That could be payback for last week, but these two have really been in a few hard-fought battles this season, and tempers boiling over here at the shortest track of the season. Terrence Day is hell-bent on getting his way back to the front, gets into Mark Nutt there, and essentially just turned him there into the wall. Sawyer Girl also stuffed in the wall, actually goes for a roll. His day is done. Green flag back out once again. Mike Doan with a big move into turn 1. Gets to Gerald Reddington's inside. Could we have our second lead change of the race? Looks like we will. Reddington will lead that lap. Allen sitting there in a good position in third after slinging along the outside of Ilya Bondarenko there. 3 wide once again with Kyle Sosnowski involved in that one, as Mike Doan will clear Gerald Reddington. Alex Allen trying to slip into second here. Don't know whether he's going to be able to do it. Reddington does not have a great turn 2. Gets a nice run down the back straightaway though. And Reddington now getting freight trained by the cars on the inside. Terrence Day once again in a bit of an incident here as he gets a big shot in the back from TJ Dent. Don't know what TJ Dent was mad about, but obviously Day did something that Dent felt was wrong. And Day with a bit of a hit into the outside wall there. Caution not out for this. Close call for Luca Obrovac coming off of turn 2 as he gets a shot from James O'Shea in the back end. James with a big run, tried to get around Luca on the inside, slid up the course, and Luca nearly into the grass there in what could have been a race-ending crash. It's beginning to appear that perhaps we may be on a green flag stretch as we look about midfield right now. We see Demir at the front of this group, Luca at the rear. Johnny Appleseed, Matthew Nicholson, Mark Nutt, featured one, and a lot of battling in between. Mike Doan beginning to encounter some lap traffic here. Gets around Nicholson, trying to get around Terrence Day. Nearly slides up into him there. Will not do so for now. Alex Allen is trying to stay on his bumper. Fell back quite a bit. Terrence Day nearly into the wall there. Day not having the best of, days so far this race. Fullerton is next in Mike Doan's sights. Day actually forcing his way back around Mike Doan, and this is allowing Alex Allen to close in for the race lead. Mike Doan once again slides a little bit wide. Alex Allen takes a look on the bottom of the track. Doan gets a great run off the corner. He will keep the lead for now. Bondarenko up into third now. The battle for the lead closing up again as Ilya Bondarenko gets by Alex Allen, takes a high line into that corner. Mike Doan in a hurry to get through these lap traffic, gets into Spencer Fullerton, and around Fullerton goes for probably the second time today. Fullerton not having a great day, as I'm sure you can already see. He is now, I believe, 2 or 3 laps down, so he'll barely be staying in for segment 2 if he does at all. That spin would bring up the caution flag. Doan once again leads the field back to the restart. Doan has received a warning for a bit of aggressive driving there. As much as that was lap traffic, you've got to be a little bit more careful than that, negotiating them. As Bondarenko clears Allen for second. Dixon now going for third. He's come through the field today, coming from, I believe, the last 10 starting positions as the caution's out once again. Cautions turn out to really breed cautions here at this racetrack. Another close call for our championship contenders as Johnny Appleseed gets turned around nearly into Luca Grovak's quarter panel. quick spin, no one else involved, but the caution's out once again. Green flag out once again. It seems this is the best time to try and make a pass as Dixon tries once again to pass Alex Allen. Was not quite successful before the caution came out. Last time, we'll get it this time. As Reddington falls back to 5th, he was initially leading, has since dropped off the pace a little bit of the leader. Jacob Young up into 6th place from a very poor starting position, as a bit of a miscommunication here between a couple of veterans. Damir Bejgenov gets turned by Spencer Fullerton, who's trying to enter the pits. Spencer very frustrated with how his day is going. He will be eliminated at the end of this segment, and perhaps not caring too much about looking in his mirrors, accidentally takes out a good friend of his, Damir, and now he will go a couple of laps down. Damir now in the threat of being eliminated at the end of this segment. Carl Endumian and TJ Dent trying to get around Spencer Fullerton. Carl Endumian gets turned around by TJ Dent, and Dent's in the wall. Carl Endumian's in the wall. Spencer Fullerton has heavy damage, even more heavy than what he already had, and that just adds insult to injury for his day. He is out of the race. Doan leads him back once again to the green flag. Dixon with a big move on Ilya Bonarenko. Dixon's flying around this track right now. His car's really come to life in the later parts of this segment. Then again, we're only just past halfway, as, well, actually more like 2/3, as Dixon slips in a second but falls back from Mike Doan, as Alex Allen now trying to retake 3rd from Ilya Bonarenko. Lost second to Bonarenko earlier in the race. Bonarenko's car seems to be falling off, though. Very close call once again as TJ Dent gets into a situation that he probably shouldn't be in. Tanker in the wall and nearly brings out the caution. Terrence Day and Johnny Appleseed racing together. That will bring out the caution. Day and Appleseed around. Tanker also got a piece. As look out, Mike Doan's coming around, and he will just avoid that wreck in order to keep his race lead. Green flag back out. Mike Doan once again gets the lead. Alex Allen trying to retake 2nd, as I believe the caution's out once again. It is. Mark Nutt retired under that last caution from an engine failure. As we're back under yellow once again. I believe this is the 10th time. We've got a 3-wide battle for position with Paul Swanson getting into the back of Richard Trelinsky. As Noski turns in Andreas Allen. And another incident for our points leader, who at this point is risking disqualification, I'm sure, from the number of incidents and the severity of the incidents that he's been causing. Matthew Nicholson with heavy damage as well in the 66. He got propped up on the wall, came back onto all 4 wheels. He will continue. Green flag back out. Dixon misses the line for that corner. Dixon's engine has just gone from 2nd place. I said he was flying through the field, but I had hoped that this wouldn't happen to him. Skylar Dixon stuck in the middle of traffic, causing a huge traffic jam. 5 wide out of the corner. Damir Bejgenov turned around along with William Nicholson, as we're still stacking him up here. Jeffrey Fingai gets turned around by, I believe that was James O'Shea. Mike Doan, the race leader, involved. Jacob Young gets a piece as well, as with this Skylar Dixon crashes trying to get down pit lane, leaving a huge cloud of smoke. Crazy incident as Mike Doan will now lose the race lead, and he is out of the race. Really unfortunate for the driver of the 72 that was having such a good day. Jacob Young will stay in, although he will come in to make a pit stop. Fakes it actually there, and he will stay out on track. He will be the new leader. Luka Obrovac restarts the race 6th. His teammate right behind him, Michael Kane, gets into the back of him off the corner, and Kane has just spun out his own teammate who is battling for the points today, and Luka's going to have to make it all back up once again. No team orders over at Blaze Racing, it seems like. That's for sure, as Pichu London and William Nicholson have a bit of a scuffle there as we're back under caution. People try so hard to make passes on the lap after the restart, and I think that's the cause of these premature cautions. Johnny Fingai actually got in the back of James O'Shea, checked up to avoid spinning him out, but instead gets spun out by Johnny Appleseed. Afterwards, coming back to the caution, Johnny Appleseed, not wanting to lose any positions, locks the heck out of Damir Bejinov, pays the price for it, gets into the grass. Johnny Appleseed not happy with Damir Bejinov, slams into the side of him there, and yet more damage for one of our points contenders, Damir Bejinov. 15 to go now. Jacob Young leads the field back to the green flag. I think the good thing is that we can only have another 2 more cautions before the segment end here, as TJ Dent makes it 3 wide, as I think we've got some more trouble. Michael Caine being very aggressive on the restarts, gets into the back of TJ Dent, who's caused a few accidents so far this race himself. And Dent spins his car out once he gets it fired up again after contact with Johnny Finguy. Hard racing at the back of the pack as Jacob Young led the field back to the green flag once again. TJ Dent and Obrovac racing side by side here, 3 wide, and TJ Dent causes yet another wreck by forcing Luke Obrovac up into Johnny Finguy. That looked pretty purposeful, actually, on behalf of TJ Dent. TJ Dent, another driver who's on the brink of disqualification here today. This would lead to just 1 lap being left in the segment as Jacob Young leads the field back to the green flag. Gerald Reddington pushed out very wide in the 12 car as the 69 gets into the 1. The 12 nearly goes around. The caution's out once again. The competition caution this time, and this Wreckfesty segment is finally over. Two by two for the start of segment 2 as Jacob Young came in first, and so of course he will leave first as he nearly gets turned by Ilya Bonarenko right off the bat. This looks crazy, just as crazy as segment 1 already, as Kyle Sosnowski, Michael Caine, and TJ Dent all had to start at the back for this segment due to causing multiple accidents in segment 1. Lap 2 begins, and with it, more chaos. Matthew Nicholson gets in the back of Gerald Reddington as we've got another crash. Sosnowski's in it. He's got damage. Oh, there's a car upside down further up. I believe that is Richard Trulinski. After getting a piece of the previous accident, Paul Swanson goes down into the path of Richard Trulinski, turning him hard into that wall. No safer barrier on that wall. Trulinski would climb out of that car unaided, but heck of a ride for Trulinski. Swanson and Michael Caine also out of the race from this accident. Several of the leaders actually decided to come in under this pit stop. I don't know whether they picked up debris on their tires from that previous accident. That's the most likely scenario, as we see about half the pack come in, half the pack stay out. In fact, just 5 cars stayed out. Alex Tanker, Luka Obrovac, who really took this as an advantage to gain a lot of track position, as Andreas Allen, Jeffrey Finguy, and Pichu London also stayed out. Tanker leads the field back to the green flag. Obrovac sitting second, Andreas Allen third. Obrovac runs wide in turn 4. He will lose that position to Andreas Allen. Gerald Reddington and James O'Shea are now several laps down. They stayed in the race from that incident, but are now out of contention for the race victory. On the restart, Damir Bejinov got a big shot from Terrence Day, gets into the wall, and spins into the pit lane. This will end any hopes of Damir capturing the 2014 HARC Pro Series Championship, as he will fall several laps down. Looks like we may be onto a green flag stretch here finally. Only our second of the race, it looks like, as Jacob Young moves up into third, passing Luka Obrovac, Pichu London, battling with Alex Allen. Jeffrey Finguy up into the top 5 now. Meanwhile, Carl Endumian and TJ Dent got together, sending Carl Endumian down into Kyle Sosnowski, who spins into the pit lane. And now all Kyle Sosnowski can do is he will fall a couple of laps down, just like Damir Bejinov. Very similar incidents, actually, is essentially watch and wait and keep himself in the race. Things may be beginning to spread out at the front of the pack, but back at the rear of the field, of the lead lap rather, Ilya Bonarenko, Terrence Day, and Carl Endumian are really doing battle here, as Carl was all over Ilya the whole back straightaway. Terrence Day still trying to hold on to that position. Great battles back here as Alex Tanker begins to encounter some of the first lap cars. This has got to be Kyle Sosnowski's worst nightmare. He is now 2 laps down from the leader Alex Tanker, being run down by Andreas Allen in second, who is now in second place. As if he looks closely in his rear view, he can see Luka Obrovac in the top 5, and knows that without a major problem, Luka will become champion. The lap cars not exactly being very gracious. Kyle Sosnowski in particular has been very aggressive at trying to get his lap back, one of them at least. Good luck getting the other one back, bud. As Tanker continues to lead, Andreas Allen still sitting second in the 39. As Tanker goes to once again relap Kyle Sosnowski. Andreas Allen still sitting there in second, can't get anything done as of yet. Jacob Young and Andreas Allen with a pretty ferocious battle as we approach the 1/3 mark of this race, of this segment rather, the 2/3 mark of this race. Pichu London goes by Andreas Allen, not quite past actually, as Luka Obrovac closes in with their battling. Alex Allen closing up on Luka's bumper. 10 laps later, Andreas Allen's car is falling off. He's fallen from second place, now being overtaken for 5th by Alex Allen, as Luka Obrovac also falling through the pack. Might just be relaxed, doesn't want to really battle with anyone for too long, not wanting to risk a potential incident. Clean air is certainly what Tanker needed to get his car really moving in the right direction here, as although he's not really in clean air right now as he continues to battle lap traffic, he is actually pulling away from Jacob Young, who is back up into second after pitting. He made his way back. He worked his way back from 6th into that second position, but hasn't really run down Alex Tanker at all. Johnny Fingai all over the back of Luka Obrovac right now as we're looking off his rear cam. A lot of drivers just falling into a pattern here. No real incidents in the last little while. Karl Ndumian and Ilya Bondarenko battling for position back there, as Luka trying not to lose any more positions, as he's back to 8th right now, and he's got to be careful because if there is another wreck and Kyle Sosnowski gains a few more positions, Luka may not actually be champion. Jacob Young finally beginning to close in on Alex Tanker, now within sight of Jacob. Just one lap car in their way. Kyle Sosnowski, who I'm sure is not going to give up that spot easily. Tanker continuing to dominate the second half of this race as Demir takes a peek on Alex Tanker to try and get one of his laps back. Jacob Young still looming there in the distance. Not really able to close by too much at a time, though. It seems when Jacob does close, Tanker's able to reel that back out. Tanker might actually just be hanging back right now, saving his stuff in case Jacob Young does actually get to his rear bumper. We come to just 7 laps to go in the season finale. Kyle Sosnowski and Damir Bejinov are being a bit of a nuisance to Jacob Young right now on his quest to get his second straight win here, as Alex Allen is now going to be challenging with him within seconds, it looks like, as Sosnowski continues to battle. Here comes Allen with a dive along the inside. Young tried to shut the door. Allen's bumper was already there, and Allen will get second. The battling will pretty much solidify Alex Tanker's win here, or will it? The caution's out for the 17th time today after a 140-lap green flag stretch. And with just 5 laps to go, we're going to a green-white checkered. Something broke on TJ Dent's car. He slides up into the wall, nearly spins into the pit. He does actually spin into the pit lane, and now he's stuck grinding the outside of the wall. They threw the caution just because they wanted to be sure that none of the pit crews got hurt from this, as TJ Dent would climb out of that thing uninjured. But weird incident to bring out the last caution of the race. As we come to the end of the scheduled distance, Alex Tanker's going to have to hold the field off for 2 laps. 13 cars are going to be in the green-white checkered, the smallest green-white checkered HARC has ever run. Damir Bejinov and Kyle Sosnowski, 2 of our championship contenders, will not be in it, and this means Kyle Sosnowski's finish of 16th will be recorded. So Luka Obrovac, at this point, all he needs to do is finish 11th or better out of that 13 grid to claim the championship. How fitting that a green-white checkered would finish a race littered with incidents such as this one. Luka Obrovac's going to be restarting 6th, 2 laps to go in the season. Allen gets a great start as Tanker tries to stick his nose in there. They're still side by side. Allen with a nice run off the corner, not able to clear him into turn 3. We're coming to the white flag now. Tanker slides up the track, nearly into Allen there. Allen will lead at the white flag. Tanker still there. Young pushing him through the corner. Tanker really gets his car to grip through the center of the corner. He's cleared Allen, and into turn 3, Jacob Young's not going to be able to make a move, and Tanker will win his 5th ever feature race. This will break the all-time the tie in the all-times win list, as we've got a wreck after the race. Allen and Young into the wall, as this is exactly why the race was split into 2 segments, because of potential incidents like that. Tanker with his 5th win, most all-time. Now Allen 2nd in the 49, Jacob Young 3rd, as big stack up going into the pits, of course, as 4th will be Jeffrey Fingai in the 20. 5th, Andreas Allen finishes off the season on a high note. Matthew Nicholson sitting there in 6th. Carlin Dumian 7th. We got Pichu London in 8th. He goes around for another cool down lap after that interesting incident. Terrence Day finishes 10th. And Luka Obrovac is your 2014 HARC Pro Series champion. After finishing 9th and winning, he wins the championship by just 4 points. Congratulations to Luka Obrovac and Blaze Racing on their domination of this season. 3 feature wins and a heat win at Drummond highlight a season of up and downs for Obrovac. Early in the year, had started off the season with some great top 5s, led the point standings for a while, had a rough few rounds, overcame some adversity with the HARC, some trouble with the HARC officials during some of the middle sections of the season after causing some unnecessary incidents, but became better and more respected as a driver, and therefore he's a worthy champion.